wrong, GMR. You know, pitch up here. Show me. Welcome to Bamfordrose and another forum chat. This week, scouring through the Facebook group and saw a GMR supercharger question or article or post. Love talking about this. It's because one of the reasons I'm a big Barry Sheene fan, and Barry Sheene was well known for his phrases, his sayings, and talking about one Suzuki bike. He famously used the saying, I think it was on live TV, couldn't pull the cock off a chocolate mouse. And that goes hand in hand with the GMR supercharger upgrade. It's a great fit. You might have seen YouTube videos by different car reviewers on the GMR supercharger, but basically if you scour the reviews for who's driven it, all of these people couldn't drive a greasy glove up a cow's arse, because what you need to be doing when you review that is take it out of traction control, get it in third gear, give it a big hoof of throttle at about 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, and you literally want to see the car swapping ends. You want to be facing southbound on the northbound carriageway. But no, you never see the car do that. We've got some previous with GMR in, I think it was about 2015-16 Amok race series. I'll make another video on that on another day because that's a story in itself. But we've recently had one of their customers here. They've only sold, I think they've been doing it since 2009, 2010. I think they're about 29, 30 kits in, so it tells you how many people are buying this kit. And this gen had driven their demo car, which has got an Aston Martin racing engine in. I think from feedback from a lot of people I talk with, they say this car is quite quick. Fair's fair, but when you get your car back, it never replicates that, and they seem to have sold that product to people that don't complain about this. This one guy came here. This one guy's came here with his car, and he's just said, "Hey, can you drive it? Can you feel what the performance is like, and can you advise me? Because I've taken it back to GMR, but they've said no. This car's performing adequately." This 4.3 that got supercharger kit on was slower than a car that's got our manifolds and catalysts on, but not just that. Because the engine is a highly strung, naturally aspirated, the compression ratio is high, near enough 11.5 to 1, 12 to 1 in worst cases. Then anyone that knows engines knows that compression ratio doesn't fit with pressure charge. You need to be down at like 8 to 1 compression ratio. Also valve overlap, it's got quite a big valve overlap, and that's a bad thing on pressure charging. So there's reasons why you can't just bolt a pressure charger kit onto the V8. It's not going to work, but they do it. Then they encounter some car performance problems, and this is the acceleration rate of the car for a certain throttle application. It accelerates quicker than the plausibility checking the car is doing in the background. Basically, this is diagnostics for fly-by-wire. So what they're trying to prevent is the car accelerating on its own accord without it being requested by the driver. So the maker is going to say, okay, you're in third gear, you've given it 50% throttle, you want X torque, that should give a acceleration rate of this in meters per second, and then there's a monitoring system that monitors if the car is accelerating at that rate. If it's accelerating much faster than what the throttle input was suggesting should be the case, then it puts it into limpo mode because it's failed plausibility checking. So what happens is they wind up the boost. If the engine doesn't fail because it's going to detonate itself to pieces because of the compression ratio or the valve timing, then what they encounter is this plausibility check. The car is accelerating too fast. So if you look on their website, it says they have to do lots of adaptation driving, a couple of 100 miles after they've done the work on your car. This is so that they can sort of limit boost so that you don't have an acceleration rate that puts it into this limpo mode. So it's all of a nonsense, really. if you're going to have pressure charge, you want to run a huge amount of boost. You want to get the most amount of performance out of it you can. Else, why bother? What was the point? And they can't. They can't through engine hardware reasons. They can't through electronic shutdown reasons, because they haven't got the intellect to be able to remap the engine management system to not be sensitive to all the problems that it encounters. So every once in a while you see on Facebook, Pistoners, wherever it is, oh, what do people think of the GMR supercharger? I always think they're stooge comments. This is a plant trying to drum up interest in it, because nearly 10 years on, selling 30 kits is hardly setting the world on fire. And I read in the States there is a reseller of parts, this owner come hobbyist type reseller of parts is going to be selling the GMR kit, and this just makes me chuckle, because now that kit is going to be going into a litigious market, and when you get people in that market that have paid a big dollar for this upgrade and realise, quote Barry Sheen again, every time I can get this into a conversation I always do, it's great fun at parties, when they spent their big dollar money and it doesn't pull the cock off a chocolate mouse, then they're going to have some lawsuits filed against them. So in this country where people are quite soft, they'll spend their money and not complain too much. I'm just going to sit back, pop open the popcorn, and if they sell 10 kits over there, watch all 10 of them take them to court because the performance isn't what it says on the tin. And I can say this quite confidently, because the particular car that we've had here, it's been dynoed, it's been airflow checked, and the customer himself is complaining about the performance. We have graphed the performance, and GMR failed to fix that car for that customer. So if I'm wrong, GMR, pitch up here, show me that, give it to me. I'm no tame racing driver. But I can drive a greasy glove up a cow's arse, and I will be turning traction off, all driver aids off, and I will be hoofing it. And I just know that, like it was at the racetrack when you couldn't beat us along the start-finish straight in your supercharged car versus our naturally aspirated car, I just know that your product, if you pitch up here and let us review it, is just not going to shine at all. Oh, and don't come in that car that's got a pepped up racing engine, because that wouldn't be fair either, would it?